Hello, dear listeners. Welcome to Real World, Real Stories. Hello, everyone. We are very happy you are here today. My name is James.
And my name is Olivia. This channel is for people who are learning English. We talk about real news. We talk about real-world events. And we do it slowly. We do it clearly, so you can learn English and learn about the world at the same time.
Today, we have a very important topic. Are you ready? Okay, imagine this. You wake up in the morning. You want to call a taxi. You open the app on your phone, but the app does not work. There is no internet.
So you try to pay at the coffee shop. You open your phone, but the payment app does not work. There is no internet.
You want to read the news. You open your browser, but the news website does not open. There is no internet.
This is not a story. This is real life. This is Moscow, Russia, in March 2026.
And today we ask a very simple question. Why?
Why is the government turning off the internet?
And more importantly, what is the government afraid of?
This is today's topic. What does Putin fear? Why is he blocking the internet in Russia?
This topic is important for everyone, not just for people in Russia, because when a government controls information, that means the news and facts that people can see and read, this affects the whole world.
And before we start, please do something for us. Press the like button right now. It helps other English learners find this channel.
Subscribe to the channel so you do not miss our next episode.
And write in the comments, what country are you from? We love to see our listeners from around the world.
Okay, let's start. So, Olivia, why are we talking about this today?
Because something very big is happening in Russia right now, and most people outside Russia do not know about it.
That's right. In March 2026, the mobile internet, that means the internet on your phone, started going off in Moscow. Not for 1 hour, not for 1 day, for many days.
Moscow is a very big city. More than 12 million people live there. Imagine 12 million people with no internet on their phones.
And today, we want to give you a balanced means fair, showing all sides, a balanced look at this situation.
We are not going to say Russia is bad or Russia is good. We are going to look at the facts.
And we want to answer the real question. What is Putin afraid of? Why does he want to control the internet?
In this episode, we will talk about what is happening right now in Russia, why the government says it is blocking the internet, what experts think the real reason is, how this affects real people, like taxi drivers and shop owners, and what might happen next.
It's a big topic, but we will go slowly, step by step, because that is how we learn in English and in life.
Think about this as we start. Have you ever felt that someone was hiding information from you? That is a feeling many Russians know very well right now.
Let's start with the facts. What is happening in Russia right now?
On March 5th, 2026, the mobile internet in Moscow started going off. Mobile internet, that means the internet connection on your phone, not Wi-Fi at home. The internet outside, on the streets.
And it did not stop. Day after day, in different parts of the city, the internet was turning off.
It spread. Spread means it moved to more places. It spread to the center of Moscow, near the Kremlin, near Red Square. In the metro, that means the underground trains.
So millions of people in the heart of Moscow had no internet on their phones.
And what happened? People could not use taxi apps. They could not pay in shops with their phones. They could not use navigation. Navigation means maps on your phone to find where to go.
This is very interesting to me because Russia has a very modern digital economy. Digital economy means businesses that work through the internet and apps. And suddenly, that economy stopped.
James, interesting is a nice word. I think frightening is more accurate.
Fair point, Olivia. Fair point.
Something else happened. Shops that sell old technology, pagers and paper maps, suddenly became very popular. People bought paper maps of Moscow because their phone maps did not work.
Paper maps in 2026?
Yes, in 2026, in one of the biggest cities in the world, paper maps.
Think about this for a moment. When did you last use a paper map? For most of us, the answer is never or a very long time ago. And yet in Moscow, in March 2026, paper maps were selling very fast.
That tells you something important. The internet is not just entertainment. Entertainment means fun, videos, games. The internet is how modern life works.
Okay, so what did the Russian government say? Why did they turn off the internet?
The official explanation, official means what the government says publicly, the official explanation was security.
Security. Security means protection, safety.
The government said Ukraine is attacking Russia with drones. Drones are small flying machines, like robots in the sky. Some drones carry cameras. Some carry weapons. The government said we need to block the internet to protect against drone attacks.
The idea is that drones can use mobile signals, signals from phone towers, to navigate. So if you turn off the mobile internet, the drones cannot find their target.
That is the official story.
And Dmitry Peskov, he's the spokesman for Putin, the person who speaks for the Kremlin, he said Ukraine is using more and more advanced methods of attack, so Russia needs more and more advanced protective measures.
Spokesman, that is a person who speaks officially for another person or organization.
And advanced means very modern and developed.
So the government says, we are turning off the internet to protect you, to keep you safe from drones.
That sounds reasonable on the surface.
On the surface, but let's look deeper.
So experts. Experts are people who know a lot about a topic. Experts are not so sure about the official explanation.
They have questions, and the questions are very interesting.
For example, if the internet is off to stop drones, why is it off in the center of Moscow, far from the front line of the war?
Front line, that is where soldiers are fighting. The front line of the war between Russia and Ukraine is hundreds of kilometers away.
So why is the internet going off near the Kremlin, near Red Square, in the Moscow metro?
Good question.
Another question, if this is about drones, why does it happen mostly at night or on specific days?
These questions do not have simple answers.
And here's what experts in human rights organizations are groups that protect the rights of people. Here's what they think. The internet is not being blocked to stop drones. The internet is being blocked to stop people.
To stop people from doing two things. First, communicating with each other. Communicating means talking, sharing information. Second, reading news from outside Russia.
And Olivia, I think this is the real heart of today's episode. This is what we need to understand.
Yes, let's go deeper, because this is not just about Russia. This is about power and fear, and everyone needs to understand this. Wait, let me ask you something directly, James.
Of course.
Do you believe the drone explanation? Really?
I think it is possible, technically possible.
But do you believe it?
No, not completely.
Why not?
Because if it was only about drones, they would not need to block Telegram.
Exactly.
They would not need to block WhatsApp.
Right.
Drones do not use WhatsApp.
Drones do not use WhatsApp, but people do.
That changes everything, doesn't it?
Yes. Drones are the excuse. People are the reason.
Drones are the excuse. People are the reason.
Remember that sentence. It is the key to understanding this whole story.
Okay, so let's talk about the first fear. The fear of communication between citizens. Citizens are the people who live in a country.
Why would a government be afraid of its own people talking to each other?
That is a great question. And the answer is because when people talk, they organize. And when they organize, they can change things.
Think about this. Imagine you are unhappy. You think the government is doing something wrong. You want to do something, but you are alone.
Alone, you can do nothing.
But if you can talk to your neighbor and your neighbor talks to their neighbor, suddenly you are not alone. You are a group. You have power.
This is how protests start. Protests are when many people go to the streets to say, we disagree with the government.
In Russia, there have been protests before. In 2011 and 2012, many Russians went to the streets. They used social media. Social media means websites and apps like Facebook and Twitter to organize, to say, meet here at this time, bring your friends.
The government did not like that.
No, they did not.
And now, in September 2026, Russia has elections. Elections for the State Duma. Duma is the Russian parliament, the group of people who make laws.
And experts say the Kremlin is very nervous about these elections.
Nervous means afraid and worried.
They do not want people to organize. They do not want people to say, let's meet here, let's vote together, let's protest together.
So they block the apps that people use to communicate.
WhatsApp, Telegram, these are the most popular messaging apps in Russia, and they are going off, one by one.
In February 2026, just 1 month before the Moscow shutdowns, Putin signed a new law. Signed means he officially approved it and made it official. This new law gives the FSB is the Russian secret police, like the old KGB. This law gives the FSB the power to order internet shutdowns anywhere in Russia.
Anywhere, at any time, for any reason.
And the telecom companies are businesses that provide phone and internet services. They cannot refuse. They have no choice. And the law says they are not responsible for the damage.
So the government has a new tool, a very powerful tool, and they are using it now.
Ask yourself this. If your government could turn off all communication in your city, what would you do? How would you talk to your family, to your friends?
But let's not talk only about big political ideas. Let's talk about real people.
Yes, because this is not just a political story. This is a human story.
There is a man named Alexander. He lives in Moscow. One day in March 2026, he was at a train station, a very busy place in the center of Moscow.
He wanted to go home. He needed a taxi.
He opened his phone, no internet. He tried again, no internet.
His friend was with him. His friend tried too. No internet.
2 people in the center of one of the biggest cities in the world. They could not call a taxi because there was no internet.
Alexander said, "We stood there, both of us with no internet, inside the station and outside. We didn't know what to do."
This is not a small problem. For taxi drivers, this is their job. No internet, no work, no money.
For restaurants and cafes, many customers pay with their phones. No internet, no payment, no business.
For small shops, they use internet systems to sell products and manage their business. No internet, everything stops.
Economists are experts who study money and business. Economists calculated that Moscow lost between $38 and $63 million because of these internet shutdowns.
$38 to $63 million in a few days. And the government says, this is for your security. But whose security? Not Alexander's security, not the taxi driver's security, not the cafe owner's security.
Okay, now let's talk about the second big fear. The fear of foreign news.
Foreign means from another country.
Putin's government controls the news in Russia. Russian state television means TV channels owned by the government. State television tells one story. It says, Russia is strong. The war in Ukraine is going well. The West is the enemy. Life in Russia is good.
But what if you can read news from the BBC, from Reuters, from Al Jazeera?
Then you hear a different story.
You hear, the war is not going well. The economy is struggling. Many Russian soldiers have died.
You hear facts that the Russian government does not want you to know.
And so the government blocks these websites.
Since 2022, that is the year Russia started the full invasion of Ukraine, since 2022, Russia has blocked many big websites: Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube.
Imagine that. No YouTube, no Instagram. Blocked.
But people found ways around the blocks. They used VPNs. VPN stands for Virtual Private Network. It is a technology, a tool that lets you connect to the internet through another country, so you can read websites that are blocked in Russia.
Millions of Russians used VPNs after 2022. Millions of people trying to read the news, trying to find out what is really happening.
And now the government wants to block VPNs too. By the end of 2026, they plan to block all VPN services.
So first they blocked the websites, then people used VPNs, and now they want to block the VPNs too. It is like a cat and a mouse.
Cat and mouse is a very common expression in English. It means one side chases the other. The cat wants to catch the mouse. The mouse keeps running away.
The government is the cat. The people trying to read free news are the mouse. And what is the government building? Experts call it the sovereign internet. Sovereign means independent, controlled by one country. The Russian government wants to create a separate Russian internet. Only Russian websites, only Russian news, only information that the government approves.
Approves means says, yes, this is okay. They already have a list of approved websites. It is called the whitelist. On the whitelist, Russian social media, the Kontakte, Odnoklassniki, government websites, pro-government news.
Not on the list, Telegram lost 80% of its connection in Russia by March 16, 2026. WhatsApp is fully blocked, and they plan to block Telegram completely in April 2026.
And instead of Telegram and WhatsApp, the government promotes a new app. It is called Max. It is a Russian state messenger.
But critics are people who say something is bad or wrong. Critics say Max can be used by the government to watch what people are writing, to read their private messages.
Private means personal, only for you.
So instead of a free messenger where your messages are private, the government wants you to use an app where they can see everything.
Think about that. Every message you write, every photo you send, the government can see it.
Olivia, I want to ask you something.
Go ahead.
Is this really so different from other countries? Many governments watch people's messages.
James.
I'm serious. The US government, the British government.
James, stop.
What?
There is a difference. A big difference.
Tell me.
In the US or UK, if the government reads your private messages illegally, you can go to court. You have rights. You have a lawyer. There are laws to protect you.
That's true.
In Russia right now, if you write a message that criticizes the war, you can go to prison. People in Russia have gone to prison for social media posts. Real people, real prison.
How many?
Thousands. Since 2022, thousands of people in Russia have been arrested for things they wrote online.
Thousands.
Yes. So when we say the government is blocking communication, we are not talking about an abstract idea. We are talking about real human lives.
You're right. I'm sorry. That is not the same at all.
No, it is not.
You know, Olivia, this situation reminds me of something from history.
Tell me.
In the Soviet Union was the name of Russia and many other countries together from 1922 to 1991. In the Soviet Union, the government also controlled all information. There was no free press. Press means newspapers and media.
People could not read Western newspapers. They could not listen to Western radio easily. The government controlled everything on television.
But people found ways. There was something called samizdat. Samizdat is a Russian word. It means self-publishing. People secretly copied books and articles by hand or on old typewriters, and they passed these papers from person to person.
So the information traveled, slowly, secretly, but it traveled.
And the Soviet government tried very hard to stop samizdat, but they could not stop it completely.
Because people always find ways to get information. Always.
Today, the internet is the modern samizdat. It is how information travels, from person to person, from country to country.
And Putin's government is trying to stop that, just like the Soviet government tried to stop samizdat.
History has a lesson here. You cannot stop information forever, but you can slow it down. And when you slow it down, some people give up, some people stop trying, and that is what the government wants.
They don't need to stop every person. They just need to make it hard enough that most people give up.
Exactly. And that is a very important lesson for all of us, about power and about how governments control their people.
James, can you explain this in a simple way for our listeners who are new to this topic?
Yes, imagine a house. Your house has windows. Through the windows, you can see the street outside. You can see what is happening in the world.
The internet is like a window to the world.
Exactly. With the internet, you can see news from other countries. You can talk to people in other countries. You can learn what is really happening, not just what your government tells you.
Now imagine, someone comes and puts heavy curtains on all your windows. Curtains are cloth covers for windows. Big, heavy curtains. You cannot see outside anymore.
And they say, "Don't worry, this is for your safety. There is danger outside."
But you don't know if that is true because you cannot see outside anymore.
And then they say, "We have a picture on the wall. Look at this picture. This shows you what the world looks like." But they painted the picture. It shows what they want you to see.
That is what is happening in Russia. The government is putting heavy curtains on the windows and painting pictures on the wall.
And the pictures show, Russia is strong. Everything is good. The West is dangerous. Trust us.
But real life is outside the curtains, and real life is always more complicated.
Let's talk about the real effect on real people in Russia.
There are different kinds of people. Let's think about them.
First, young people. Young Russians grew up with the internet. They use it for everything. For them, losing the internet is like losing electricity or water. It is not normal. It is not okay.
Many young Russians leave Russia. Since 2022, hundreds of thousands of young, educated Russians have moved to other countries, to Georgia, to Armenia, to Serbia, to Europe, because they want freedom and they want access to information.
This is called brain drain. Brain drain means smart, talented people leaving their country. And this is bad for Russia's economy in future.
Second, business owners. Small businesses in Russia depend on the internet. Taxi companies, food delivery apps, online shops. When the internet goes off, their business stops. Their employees cannot work, and the business owner loses money.
Third, older people. Some older Russians trust the government more. They grew up in the Soviet Union. They remember when there was no free information. For them, this feels more normal.
But even they are affected, because their children and grandchildren use the internet, because prices in shops are going up, because the economy is struggling.
And fourth, this is very important, journalists. Journalists are people who write news. Independent journalists in Russia, journalists who do not work for the government, they are in very serious danger. Many are in prison. Many have left Russia.
Without independent journalists, who tells the truth? Who tells people what is really happening?
That is exactly the problem.
And it is a problem for all of us, not just for Russia.
James, let me ask you directly again.
Okay.
Do you think ordinary Russians know what their government is doing in Ukraine?
I think some do. Some people use VPNs, they read foreign news.
And what about the others?
The others, they see what the government shows them.
So they don't know?
Maybe they don't know everything, but
James, a woman in Moscow said this. She said she is afraid. She said the government is turning off the internet and calling it safety, but she knows it is not about safety.
she knows.
She knows, and she is afraid to say it loudly because thousands of people went to prison for saying it loudly.
That is a very difficult situation to be in.
Imagine you know the truth, but you cannot say it because you will go to prison.
That is not freedom.
No, that is fear, and that is what Putin is using, not just to control information, but to control people's courage.
Information and fear. That is the real weapon.
Yes.
Okay, let's look at the future. What can happen next? We have 3 possible scenarios. Scenarios means possible stories about the future.
Scenario 1. The internet shutdowns continue, and they grow. More cities, more regions, more days.
The government builds the sovereign internet, the closed Russian internet. By the end of 2026, they block all VPNs. Russia becomes more and more isolated. Isolated means alone, cut off from the rest of the world, from the global internet.
This is similar to China. China has its own internet. It is called the Great Firewall. Firewall is a computer term. It is a system that blocks things. China's Great Firewall blocks most Western websites. Russians know about this model, and some people in the Kremlin admire it.
But there is a difference. China started building its internet system many years ago. Russia is trying to do it much faster, and many experts say, technically, it is very difficult. Russia's internet is connected to the global internet in many ways. It is not easy to separate them.
Scenario 2. The situation gets worse. Worse means more bad. The economy suffers more. Young people leave Russia. Businesses fail. And at some point, the economic damage becomes too big.
In this scenario, some people inside Russia, including people in business and government, start to push back. Push back means resist, say no, because the internet shutdowns are destroying the economy.
Will that happen? We don't know, but economic pain changes politics. Always.
Scenario 3, and I want to be honest, this is the hopeful scenario. Scenario 3, information finds a way, like water through rocks.
What do you mean?
I mean, people are creative. They found samizdat in the Soviet era. They found VPNs after 2022. They will find new tools, new ways to communicate, new ways to get information.
Maybe, but every time it gets harder, and not everyone has the technical knowledge to use these tools.
True, but history shows you cannot block truth forever. It always finds a way. Slowly, but it does. And why does this matter for people outside Russia?
Good question. Let's think about it.
First, Russia is a big country. It is connected to the world economy. When Russia's economy is isolated, when Russian businesses cannot work normally, this affects other countries too.
Second, what happens in Russia can happen in other countries. Internet blocking is not only in Russia. It happens in many places, in Iran, in North Korea, in some parts of other countries during protests.
When one government does something, and it works, other governments watch, they learn, they think, maybe we can do this too.
So what happens in Russia is not just Russia's problem. It is a test of, can a modern government control the internet? Can it really isolate its people from global information?
And the answer affects all of us,
because we all live in the same world. We all use the same internet.
And we all have the right. Right means something you can do that the government cannot take away. We all have the right to information, to communication, to free speech.
Free speech means the freedom to say and write what you think without fear of punishment.
These are not small ideas. They are fundamental. Fundamental means basic, most important. They are fundamental human rights.
Okay, let's stop for a moment. We always do a vocabulary section in every episode because this channel is for English learners.
And today we have 7 important words and phrases. Let's review them together.
Word number 1, block, to stop something from working. The government blocked the website. The internet is blocked. This is a very common word in technology news.
Word number 2, communication. Talking and sharing information with other people. The internet is an important tool for communication. You can use this word in many situations, in business, in relationships, in technology.
Word number 3, citizen, a person who is officially from a country. The citizens of Russia use the internet every day. You are a citizen of your country. Citizens have rights and responsibilities.
Word number 4, control. To have power over something, to decide what happens. The government wants to control the information. He lost control of the car. This is a very useful word in politics and in everyday life.
Word number 5, isolated, alone, cut off from others. Russia is becoming more isolated from the global internet. You can also say, I felt isolated when I moved to a new city. It means separated from others.
Word number 6, approve. To officially say, yes, this is okay. The government approves websites for the whitelist. My boss approved my vacation request. You need this word in work situations, when someone says yes to your idea or plan.
And word number 7, this one is very useful. Freedom of speech, the right to say and write what you think, without punishment. Freedom of speech is important in a democracy. Democracy means a system where people choose their government.
Let's say all 7 words one more time.
Block, communication, citizen, control, isolated, approve, freedom of speech.
These words are important. You will see them in news articles. You will hear them in podcasts and YouTube videos. Practice using them. Write a sentence with each one.
Okay, we are near the end of today's episode. Let's review the main lessons.
Lesson 1. In March 2026, Russia began turning off the mobile internet in Moscow. Millions of people were affected. Taxis could not work, shops could not operate, payments could not go through.
Lesson 2. The official reason is security against drone attacks, but experts and human rights organizations believe the real reason is different. The government wants to stop citizens from communicating with each other, and it wants to stop them from reading foreign news.
Lesson 3. The Russian government is building a sovereign internet, a closed Russian internet with only approved websites. They are blocking WhatsApp, Telegram, and soon all VPNs. Instead, they promote a government messenger called Max.
Lesson 4. This is not a new idea. The Soviet Union also controlled information, but people always find ways to get the truth. History shows this time after time.
And Lesson 5, the most important one. Information is power. When a government controls information, it controls people. And when people lose access to free information, they lose something very precious. Precious means very valuable, very important.
Understanding this story helps you understand many other stories in the world about power, about fear, about the fight for truth.
And it helps your English. When you listen to real news slowly in a clear podcast like this one, you train your ear, you learn new vocabulary, you learn to think critically. Critically means to think carefully and ask questions, not just accept what you hear.
That is what we do here on Real World Real Stories. We look at the world together, calmly, without fear, with curiosity. Curiosity means the desire to learn and understand.
So, dear listeners, wherever you are in the world, keep watching the news, but watch it calmly. Ask questions. Think about who is talking. Think about what they want you to believe. And then think for yourself.
And now, our final call to action. If you enjoyed this episode, please press the like button. It takes 2 seconds, and it helps other English learners find this channel.
Subscribe to the channel so you never miss a new episode. We publish new episodes every week.
Write in the comments, what country are you from? And what do you think about today's topic? Do you have free internet in your country? Do you think about this?
If you liked this episode, share it with a friend who is also learning English. Together, learning is always better.
And remember this, knowing more makes you stronger. Understanding the world makes you calmer. And curiosity, asking questions, looking for answers, that is one of the most powerful things a human being can do.
Keep learning. Keep asking questions.
From Olivia and James, thank you for being here. We will see you in the next episode of Real World Real Stories.